Peeps! Today, Universal Orlando has finally, officially revealed all the houses and scare zones and everything coming to this year's Halloween Horror Nights event, HHN 31. So, with that, just like we do every year, we are here with our guide to the event, our thoughts on all the announcements, and more right after this.
Best house yet! Oh, awesome!
Step into the horror classic, Halloween. The Weekend. After Hours Nightmare. And more. Summon your Scream Squad to Universal's Halloween Horror Nights.
First of all, let's hit the basics. Universal Studios Halloween Horror Nights runs select nights through October 31st and starting on September 2nd. All tickets are now on sale at universalorlando.com or halloweenhorrornights.com, including single night, multi-night, express, and add-ons such as early entry, behind-the-scenes tours, VIP, scare actor dining, and more. Halloween Horror Nights merchandise is already creeping out at the All Hallows Boutique at Islands of Adventure and throughout City Walk, and we're kind of starting to see that the theme of this year's Halloween Horror Nights event is taking the number 31 and applying it to the fact that October 31st is Halloween, and so every day is Halloween. So we'll see a lot of traditional Halloween imagery throughout the scare zones, throughout the houses, and throughout the merchandise. And we're going to see the return of Lil Boo this year, who's a popular little pumpkin carving that was in the Wicked Growth House last year. So, what are the 10 houses coming to Halloween Horror Nights 2022 at Universal Studios? Well, before today, we knew 4 of the houses already, the 4 IP houses. IP referring to intellectual property, or basically licensed properties that are not original ideas from the Halloween Horror Nights creative team. So those 4 houses are Universal Monsters, Legends Collide, featuring an epic battle between Dracula, the Mummy, and the Wolfman. Halloween, returning us to the story of the 1978 horror classic. The Horrors of Blumhouse, bringing us into the world of the recent movie releases Freaky and the Black Phone. And The Weekend, After Hours Nightmare, an interpretation of the popular singer's After Hours album through the lens of his nightmares. And today's announcement gives us the remaining 6 houses, all based on original ideas from the Universal Studios creative team. You'll have an opportunity to enter an unsettling 1920s speakeasy, only to discover that you are the main ingredient of a witch's brew in Spirits of the Coven. Face a putrid, skin-crawling infestation of spiders, roaches, flies, bees, and more in Bugs Eaten Alive. Escape or become prey to a no longer mythical fanged creature in Fiesta de Chupacabras. Attempt to survive visiting hours for horrifying monsters serving time in Hellblock Horror. Endure a petrifying winter thunderstorm in a seaside village ruined by an undead fisherman in Dead Man's Pier, Winter's Wake, bringing back the Dead Man's Wharf theme from previous Halloween Horror Nights. And finally, encounter bloodthirsty mutants living in a post-apocalyptic subway station in Descendants of Destruction. In addition, we also know what scare zones we'll see this year throughout the park. As you enter the park, you'll encounter the return of the Pumpkin Lord and all his devious subjects in Horrors of Halloween. In addition to the return of the Pumpkin Lord, you also get the return of the Scarecrows as you reap their wrath, as they stop at nothing to harvest their souls in Scarecrow Cursed Soil in the streets of Central Park. In the streets of New York, experience a terrifying 1950s parade gone wrong alongside bloodthirsty trick-or-treaters in Sweet Revenge. Venture through an ominous Halloween thunderstorm with a ghastly cemetery in Graveyard, Deadly Unrest. And escape an evil sorceress bringing forth an army of ravenous monstrosities in Conjure the Dark. 2 live shows will also be returning this year. We get a sequel to last year's fan-favorite Halloween Nightmare Fuel show, featuring the world-famous performance group The Fuel Girls in Halloween Nightmare Fuel Wildfire, which highlights a new dreamer in the depths of a new nightmare set to heart-pounding metal, rock, and an electronica score. And an all-new show taking place in the Universal Studios Lagoon that follows the Grim Reaper on the undertaking of what happens beyond the grave, all set to eerily remixed music by some of today's most iconic artists in Ghoulish, A Halloween Tale. The Tribute Store, which at the time of this recording is under construction, will be making its return this year, featuring tons of new merchandise, food, and collectibles. We'll be discussing our thoughts on that closer to time as the event approaches. Scare Actor Dining will also be making a return. This year it will be in Louis' Italian restaurant in the streets of New York instead of its previous location at the Monsters Cafe, since that's under construction to convert to what we believe will be a Minions-themed restaurant. Finally, just like last year, a Halloween Horror Nights themed experience will be making its way out of the park and into Cabana Bay Beach Resort. A Universal Monsters themed photo gallery experience exclusive to Universal Orlando Resort guests will be featured at Cabana Bay Beach Resort, as well as the Spooky Swizzle Lounge at the bar in the lobby. So that does it for this year's guide to Halloween Horror Nights 31. Make sure that you have subscribed to the channel and hit the notification icon as well, because we will have our coverage of the event when the event starts, including Scare Actor Dining, the Tribute Store, the photo opportunity experience at Cabana Bay Beach Resort, and more. And before then, we will have, just like last year, our food guide to all the cool themed food and beverages coming to this year's event. We are obviously excited about this year's event, especially all the cool, amazing sounding original property houses. You know, we're a big fan of those original properties. So what are you most excited about? Leave us a comment down below with your thoughts on what announcement, what house, what scare zone, whatever you are most looking forward to with this year's event. Also, you've probably seen a couple of pictures throughout the video from our friends at Inside Universal. Make sure you are following them on Twitter because they have frequent updates of Scare Zone construction and more. And while you're clicking around, you might as well go ahead and click that thumbs up button on this video, especially if you've made it this far. It really helps us know the type of content that you like seeing. Thank you all for watching, and we will see you next time.